Welcome to The Curve Weekly, where we read the finance news so that you don't have to. What is coming up on today's show, Vic?
Today we are talking about OpenAI. They've just signed a massive multi-billion-dollar deal with AMD and why this is important. We're also talking about Japan and its new female prime minister, but don't get excited. And we're talking about how in the US, 20 out of the top 25 companies are based there and why Europe is significantly lagging. And finally, we're talking about inflation that is starting to show through in the US after Trump's tariffs, and interest rates, particularly in New Zealand, that have fallen a lot and why.
And finally, the hard-hitting journalism coming from me. We have Halloween coming up and we need your help to decide what we dress up as. So please, at the end of this episode, we share our ideas. We need you to vote. Let's get into the episode, but just before we do, Vic has made a massive purchase, which she would like to share with the team.
No, I got some new makeup.
What did you buy?
I've had the same makeup routine for since I was 18. I got influenced. My makeup was running out and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time for a change. And so I got influenced. I went the full shebang. I bought a contour stick. I bought lip liner. I bought this highlighter stuff. I got really influenced.
How much did it set you back?
A lot.
That's the problem with a big haul of makeup. It is
and I'm like,
so
Vic,
expensive.
You have to use all of them. You can't just be in a rush and just put on the foundation and then run out the door.
Can I give you a different perspective there? I think you will use it and you don't have to use it all the time.
Yeah,
it just means it'll last for longer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Emily, before we get going, can you just quickly run into the office and grab my handbag? I want to show the total makeup blunder that I had recently. So this is what happens to me every time I try and buy makeup. Just excuse if
You've brought a whole thing of eggs.
Yeah.
That is really rogue.
No, it's not.
Really
Well, guys,
dangerous.
Why?
You can see exactly what will happen.
Okay.
You'll step off the chair and you'll stand on your eggs.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
Let me move those. So basically, I went to Space NK and I thought, okay, the flawless filter, off I go. Been told it's great. Apparently it's good on TikTok. Yep, I went in and I thought, colour match me, would you? Tell me what colour to get.
Oh no.
I need a full zoom in of how bad this colour match is here, okay? Spent so much money on it. Look at the colour. Point is, if you go and spend, like you did, $500 on a new makeup haul, get testers, take 100%. Them home, look at them in every possible light before you go and spend that much money because it is seriously gutting. Anyway, what is the first story of the day? We're talking about AI, aren't we?
AI. Another day, another AI deal. I'm actually glad that AI deals are more popular than Trump right now in terms of headlines.
Number one story.
Yeah. So OpenAI is literally on a spending spree.
Let's set the scene here. So OpenAI
owns ChatGPT.
Owns ChatGPT, and it was built originally to be a charity, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a charity, it was not for profit. Yeah. And then now it is for profit. But it has announced a multi-billion, billion dollar deal with AMD. So AMD is essentially NVIDIA's competitor. Yeah.
Wait, so we need to just backtrack for anyone that doesn't understand the context there because, by the way, you say NVIDIA wrong.
I know. Every time I'm like, you know what?
She says, you say
NVIDIA,
but it's NVIDIA.
I know.
Anyway, NVIDIA is the world's biggest company right now on the stock market, or one of. It's huge.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so massive is because the chips that you need to have AI powered in anything, any computer or whatever, are made by this particular company.
You need really high powered, high tech, advanced chips.
Yeah. So if you think of a DSLR camera and the little SD cards you've got to put in there to take photos or whatever, think about that, but times a million. It's like a chip essentially that enables something to happen. Anyway.
Super powerful chip.
Yeah.
So anyway, NVIDIA's been almost the dominant player with these chips for so long, and that's why its share price has just gone absolutely bananas.
So AMD, do they have chips as well?
Yes. Yeah. The whole thing that OpenAI is trying to do is secure these chips because it's going to need tons and tons of them. So they're trying to, I guess, de-risk the value chain or the supply chain for themselves. Does that make sense? So it's remember there was a few weeks ago, they announced a huge deal with NVIDIA. They were like, look, we need to secure X number of chips from you. And it was a multi-billion-dollar deal. Now they've done the same with AMD because they're like, we know there is going to be so much need for these chips and there's going to be so much demand for AI. We need to have formal contracts and partnerships in place so that we can make sure that we can deliver what we can deliver. So basically, all the other tech companies probably are scrambling right now going, oh my goodness, we actually need to do the same and secure chips from NVIDIA and AMD.
So so we think about COVID. We think about everyone thinking they're about to run out of stuff to wipe their bum with and toilet paper goes absolutely through the roof. Is it a similar case where they're like, right, we need to stockpile chips because they're going to be so in demand.
We need to go to
we need to
Kleenex.
buy them up front and go to Kleenex and get all of the toilet paper supply.
We're going to have a partnership and you're going to deliver X number of rolls of toilet paper. But then Kleenex would be like, well, okay, if you want that, that's going to mean we're going to have to build a whole new manufacturing facility. So we need you guys to pay us up front in order to secure that so that we can build this new facility and have guaranteed orders from you to support that investment.
And quite interesting because one of the things that you say about future-proofing an investment or like looking for a good investment is when they have long-term partnerships or contracts. So for example, if you were a cleaning service and you were like, well, I've just signed a deal that I'm cleaning every single flat in London for the next 5 years, it's like almost guaranteed revenue, guaranteed visibility on what the business future looks like, which is what this is.
To a point, if OpenAI now accounted for like 90% of AMD's revenue, for example, that would be a concern because you're like, whoa, okay, if OpenAI blows up or actually decides, you know what, screw it, this contract's not worth it and goes, you know, like there's a balance. But this, I guess the whole preface of this headline and this news article is that we are just seeing week after week deals like this where it just shows, I guess, the scale of the demand of AI. The amount of computing power that OpenAI has secured from AMD is the amount that is used to currently power the whole of Singapore.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've never been to Singapore, don't know the size of it, but I'm assuming that's quite a lot.
It's a whole city.
And is this that they're buying all in one go, or is this that
no,
they're
it's
getting
over 5 years, but they've also got the right to then acquire 10% of AMD. So they're getting their little tentacles into lots of...
It's really interesting. I reckon zooming out from this is thinking, okay, so AMD and NVIDIA are the biggest chip providers for AI globally. OpenAI is essentially trying to get access to the two biggest players. It would be like everyone in the UK is starting to eat burgers for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And let's just imagine, for argument's sake, there's some weird company that feeds the whole of the UK, right? And so they're the ones that need to secure the burgers to feed everyone. They secure a deal with both Burger King and McDonald's because they know how many burgers they're going to need to feed the whole of the UK. It's the idea of that. It's like, okay, shit, we can't get enough of the burgers we need from just one company. So we need to get as many as we can, which means investing in two big competing businesses. Do you think that there's...
And then McDonald's and Burger King are like, well, we are going to have to open more stores to create these burgers. There's risk that we're taking. We need this to be beneficial for us. So you need to sign a 5-year partnership and you need to pour billions of dollars in. And so it's like, and then that's when... And then that big company that feeds the whole UK goes, yeah, okay, cool. We'll also agree to buy 10% of your McDonald's if you do this.
God, it's so intertwined, isn't it?
But they both mutually benefit, right?
Yeah, so I guess zooming out, it's thinking both of these businesses are going to be doing well in the future.
And it's all because of AI. Like they're both benefiting massively because of the demand in AI.
I wonder if we'll look back at these conversations in 10 years' time and be like, God, we were so cute, weren't we? When we thought like, oh, AI is exploding. You know, like at that point, I imagine it will be everything's AI and we won't even be talking about it. And it was just like such an obvious thing. I just don't even think we have any context for how big this is going to get and how much it's going to be taking over.
You know what I'm really excited to do is our predictions for 2026.
Oh my God, I can't wait. And I think I'm going to win this. So basically for context, I actually can't even remember what we both said, to be fair. But at the start of this year, we predicted what was going to be happening with the stock market, how much we thought it was going to be going up or down. And I think I won because I said, I think it's going to go up. And Vic said, I think there's going to be a bubble because that you just can't keep going up in the same way that it has been. Anyway, it will be the last Curve Weekly of 2025 to see who takes the crown. In fact, can we get a prize or something? Can there be like a prediction queen or something?
But now AMD, its share price is up 100% this year.
What?
Yeah, it's outperformed NVIDIA.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is maybe, because there was a few moments, there was something that happened maybe 6 months ago where there's some stats or data that came out that AMD's chips were going to be like
DeepSeek.
Okay, right. So I was getting confused.
But this is
DeepSeek is like a different business.
Chinese company, yeah.
But it's the same kind of company.
Yeah. And that's when they came out and said like our chips are better than NVIDIA's and AMD and like, so that was, everyone was like, oh my goodness. But I feel like it's a rising tide lifts all boats, right? There's going to be even probably the shit chips will be demanded.
Yeah.
The next biggest news that we're talking about, we have another female in an important role. I feel like it's like every other week as well. We have, the first female in this and the first
Do you
female.
think? See, I feel like I haven't heard any news like that in ages.
Well, we had the first New Zealand Reserve Bank governor that was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like we're going to have the first Japanese female prime minister. So this lady, Sanae Takeishi, is the vote's in mid-October, so in a couple of weeks. And looks like she's going to be the first female prime minister in Japan.
So I need to ask you, I've seen headlines that are along the lines of, you might think it's a feminist move, but it's not. So what is that about?
She's not a feminist at all. Wow. Yeah. She's from the Conservative Party, so she's very socially conservative.
Right-winged.
Yes. But also, like, let's remember, Japan is a very deeply patriarchal nation.
Mm.
But she's come out, and there's also speculation that certain things, like there is a law, if you're married in Japan, you have to take your husband's surname.
Oh my God, we should do a deep dive on Japan. I would be so fascinated. The fact that is legal.
And so people were like, oh, maybe she's going to revise that. And yeah, I mean, people are like, well, no, she's very conservative. She has no interest in women's rights or gender equality. She is fully opposed to same-sex marriage.
She's openly fully opposed to it. Holy shit.
So yes, when I read this headline, I was like, oh my God, yay. First female prime minister in Japan. And then as I dug deeper, I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It's not all it's cracked up to be. And we can't assume that. I guess all women have the same view. And yeah, I mean, it is a positive step. Don't get me wrong.
But it's like, it's really interesting. There's so much ingrained misogyny in a lot of women. I imagine it's incredibly condensed in a place like Japan. But that article I wrote for a news outlet a while ago around like the question mark around whether or not I'm going to be able to have kids based on many different things, particularly financially being one of those barriers. Anyway, I didn't read the comments because apparently they were so gnarly, but it was, people saying that I was so selfish and like, well, anyway, it was majority women that were commenting, which is so interesting. When you start to try and unwind your own, like how internalized a lot of that is, like there's obviously a lot of internalized racism, internalized homophobia, like, and that this is from like generations of being told that is wrong, that is not okay. And misogyny is like the oldest thing in the playbook, and so many of us have been kind of like, she would have no idea that she's not a feminist.
Well, when it's so ingrained in your culture as well, right, and your upbringing and your environment, like it does take a very self-aware, strong-willed person to go against the grain.
And to unravel your own beliefs, which is, Also, just for context, for anyone that can't hear this, there's someone that's like, obviously, I don't know if you can hear that, but honestly, it sounds like someone's rubbing, like trying to burrow into the wall or something. And every time we come to sit down to record our podcast, it feels like the construction just kicks off.
Yeah.
Or like people are having a party next door. It's quite annoying.
So I went to this dinner the other night. It was with a bank in the UK.
No, don't. Was there mice there? I can't.
And was at this beautiful old bank. It's one of the oldest banks in the UK. And I actually got a video of King Henry's ledger, like his transactions. And like that's how old it was. Like King Henry used to bank there. Anyway,
which is what? How many years ago?
1700s. Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway, we're having this beautiful dinner.
I'm so scared that a mouse is going to come out.
I was talking to this lady from the bank who was hosting the dinner, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, she turns around and it's gone. And I was like, she's like, what? And I was like, oh, I can't, I'm your guest and I've seen, like you would die. And so I just said, and this other lady's like, I thought I saw something too. I was like, oh, I don't know what it was. And honestly, the whole time I was just looking down the hallway, just being like, oh my God, am I going to see it again? Am I going to see it again? Anyway, it was a little mouse.
No, not a little mouse. Don't sound like it's cute.
I know, but I was like, oh, it's winter time. It's probably just cold. Anyway.
There is like a little in my living room, there's definitely something happening in one of the walls, because actually when Miso, Vic's dog, came round, Miso was just sitting in front of the wall and she kept putting a paw on it. Like she knew there was something there. And I was like, Miso, don't. I am trying to compartmentalize the fact that there's
also
a fucking
Miso would be
mouse in my
shit
wall.
with the mouse. She would run away. Yeah.
She was trying really hard to get in there. I was like, good girl.
But it's winter, so they're going to come inside.
Let's move on from mice.
Anyway, yes. This Japanese prime minister, she's very pro-stimulus. So you're stimulating
the economy.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get things sexy.
Yeah, so lots of government spending, but she is inheriting a stock market. The Japanese stock market is at all-time highs.
I was going to say it's doing really well,
It's doing
isn't it?
so well, and it's actually outperformed the S&P 500 over the last 5 years. So the Japanese index, the S&P 500 equivalent, is called the Nikkei 225.
Oh, that's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
The Nikkei 225.
Yeah, so there's 225 companies.
Warren Buffett was the one that led this, didn't he?
He did.
What was it? What was his thing? I can't even remember the reason.
He bought a whole bunch of Japanese companies because they'd had such a period of deflation and lack of immigration, and like they were kind of just opening up their economy a lot more to the world and bringing a lot of changes, which have actually delivered, right? Because the stock market is a reflection of the economy. I think this could be, despite her, more personal views, I think this could be really good for Japan.
Okay, what is happening? Story number 3.
Story number 3, Batman.
Oh, okay.
Batman stocks.
Oh,
so
actually Batman.
Batman.
Okay, I'm here for it.
2 A's. Oh, Batman. 2
Batman.
M's and 2 A's. Anyway, we're talking about the US versus Europe. So last week when we were talking about the London Stock Exchange, potentially, it hasn't done too well, and there's a lot of interest in investing in US companies because of AI. There is an incredible stat that's come out that 20 of the most 25 valuable companies in the world are in the US and only 1 is in Europe. That says something about, I guess, the kind of the overarching view of the world, right?
I just imagine Trump getting a hard on over that.
I know.
He would think it's the coolest thing in the whole world. Can you imagine? Oh,
I know.
I mean, look, it's been like that for a while.
Yes, yeah. And
it's not anything new.
Exacerbated, I guess, because of AI. Like if you think of Europe's top companies, they're like LVMH, Hermes, they're luxury brands, they're industrials like Shell and Siemens and like Siemens, how do you say it? Pharmaceuticals, you've got like AstraZeneca, you've got, like all of those companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly household names.
It's not like, oh my God, invest in Shell.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So anyway, it's those real slow growth sectors. And so that's just kind of led more to this divide of people putting more money into the US, therefore the US getting more, the companies going up in value, therefore it looks like a much more exciting stock exchange.
It's
therefore
just such a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
You need someone to almost be the poster child or the poster company that makes Europe's or like stock markets cool again.
But like the reason that they're all dominated in the US is because of AI. Like the way you unwind that is like create a really conducive, innovative environment in your country that breeds innovation and that allows people to come that have the expertise and all of that, like you need to be tax breaks for new businesses, like all of that kind of stuff, even though it takes generations to pan out, that is what helps make the next US, I guess.
And it's interesting because I think from our perspective, you can look at the US right now and think it's always been so strong, or China, it's always been so strong. But actually, that's not the case. The reason China has had such a glow up financially, it used to be, or maybe it still is, I don't actually really know the details here, but the idea that it was targeted as a really cheap place to make things has boosted its economy. And like that's taken time.
Yeah.
So in the same way that change can be made over a long period of time, and now China is actually a real threat to the US but it was once one of the poorest, really like not flourishing economies, and that's changed over years and years and years, right? So your point here is that it's not to say that Europe can't all of a sudden become a really strong place for companies to list and for companies to thrive, but there's so many things that need to be changed at government or policy level to enable innovation, tax breaks for corporates, etc., to 100%. Be able to see a shift.
Yeah. And when we spoke about those visa hikes in the US, the H-1B visa was going up in price.
I think I was away that week, but it was basically it's gone up 100% or something.
Yeah, it was like gone up from like $2,000 to $100,000.
Which prevents people from being able to enter that aren't from the US.
So it's like this is kind of, there's been increasing rhetoric around, is there an AI boom? Is the US going to outperform in the next 10 years, or is it going to be something else? But
also really interesting, the idea of sort of cutting visas and international talent. It will be really interesting to see the flow and effects of that, because what Trump is essentially saying is innovation and business is only really led by and should only be led by Americans.
Yeah.
And
we have all the resources internally to create value, and
everyone else go do your thing. And actually what would be amazing to see over a long period of time is if everyone's like, cool, F you then, we'll go and start companies here and do this and use our talent in different ways and prove the value of diversity is
which is why I'm
what
like,
we'll see.
How cool it would be if Australia and New Zealand was like, come here. I don't know. It would be great for smaller countries to be like open arms.
To wake up to the idea that you can actually attract amazing talent and people if you have the right policies in place.
Yeah. The BATMMAAN stocks.
Wait, remind me what the BATMMAAN stocks are.
So can you try and guess?
Oh, yeah, I love
so
the
these are
guessing
the
game.
top big tech companies, the 8 biggest leaders in the US. The B, I don't think we've
Oh my God, I was
going to
say the B. I'm like, I don't know. The B.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Amazon.
Yep.
A. Emily, could you maybe come help on the microphone? Do you have any ideas?
Tesla.
Yes.
Apple.
It's BATMMAAN with 2 M's and 2 A's.
Okay. Meta.
Yes.
Another M.
Microsoft.
Yep.
Oh. Apple.
Yep. One more A.
Oh shit.
So you're missing the B, but you've got Amazon, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, Apple.
What? Alphabet.
Yeah.
Emily running to the mic.
And then the last one, N.
NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Oh my, always so clever, Emily.
So the B is Broadcom.
Oh, what is
I know.
that?
It's like kind of, I think, my new Microsoft.
Oh no.
It's been very under the radar, but it's
You
done.
have given Microsoft a wide berth for the last little while. You've really given it a bit of a breather, which, I'm sure everyone appreciates.
I know. It's actually, I keep checking it in my portfolio. I'm just like, go, you good thing. Anyway.
So
yes.
what? Sorry. So the BATMMAAN, let's
BATMMAAN
link this back
are
to
the top
US.
8 leaders. So they used to be called the FANG stocks. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Facebook, Amazon, and then Facebook changed it to Meta. Anyway, it's now the BATMMAAN stock. So the 8 top leading companies in.
I just love that FANG and BATMMAAN
know.
gnarly and aggressive and
Let's bring some fun to the Wall Street investors.
God,
and everything.
BATMMAAN stocks.
Um,
Just on this has given me an idea for Halloween. This could be a Halloween dress up.
FANGs and BATMMAAN.
Pangs and BATMMAAN. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Listen to the end of this podcast because we desperately need your help with what the we dress up as for Halloween.
Anyway, that's all I had on that.
Wait, sorry, what was the point here? Is one of these in Europe and the rest in America?
No, it's just saying that out of the top 25 most valuable companies in the world, 20 of them are in the US and only 1 is in Europe.
And any of the BATMMAANs in...
Yes, the top 8, they're all American companies.
Oh.
So the top 8 are all in America. All the BATMMAANs are in America. What I was trying to say here is like Europe is very old world, luxury, industrials, pharmaceuticals, and that's just not what people are interested in investing in. And the last thing I want to touch on is inflation and interest rates. Should have done this first.
Why? Because it's boring?
'cause you
You
always
really
say-
did not
yeah.
save the best for last?
So we are starting to finally see, not that that's a good thing, but finally see inflation coming through in the US post tariffs.
Oh, shit, it's happening.
So that was April he announced the tariffs, most of them, and
6 months
about
later.
6 months later we're starting to see it really come through.
No.
In things like audio equipment up 14%.
Sorry. Who's tracking audio equipment as if it's like a barometer for tariffs
No, but it's
and
more
inflation?
like the things that are most imported into the US.
First off,
You know?
first off the rank where we've noticed inflation, audio equipment. Like, are you serious?
Well, no, it's like they're looking at the
The 3 people in US that need audio equipment.
they are looking at the things that get the biggest imports into the US. So it's dresses, like clothing, up
Yeah.
8%, hardware, up 5%. Anyway, I'm just trying to get at the fact that we're starting to see it come through, particularly in audio equipment.
Okay.
In relation to that, we're also seeing in New Zealand, we had a massive rate cut.
Rate cut of interest rate.
Interest rate cut, yeah. And we kind of spoke about the whole exporting the butter last week in terms of getting high prices of butter overseas and how the New Zealand economy is not doing very well. And they've now just had a 0.5% cut to interest rates, which is that's one of the biggest moves, really. Usually it's 0.25. This is
0.5%.
0.5%. This is the lowest level it's been since July 2022, and it's all because of the worry about the economic growth there. So they're trying to stimulate the growth.
So the idea of like having lower interest rates means more people want to spend.
Yeah, more businesses want to.
And because they're
Invest
worried
and grow,
about people
yeah.
not spending because of all this inflation chat, they're like, cool, we need to bring interest rates down quite a bit.
But inflation, it's at 2.7% in New Zealand. So it's at the top of that 1% to 3% band. So they're watching that like a hawk, because if that starts going up as well, that's really bad. All regions now have pretty manageable inflation, but I guess the reason we're highlighting New Zealand is like they need to manage. If you're decreasing interest rates this fast, then you need to be very careful that inflation doesn't start running away. Like Australia's stopped decreasing interest rates. They don't need to. So therefore their inflation's manageable, like all of that. Whereas it's just one major thing to be aware of. Yeah. And then I've introduced a new segment.
We cannot call it what you've called it.
The warm fuzzy of the week.
Oh God.
It's really-
it's giving primary school teacher.
I mean, whether I'll be able to find something every week is probably another.
Okay, well look.
Introduce a new segment for this week.
Okay, so we're trying to lift the mood here.
Yes,
We'll do a bit of a brainstorm. If anyone has any ideas on what we can call this segment at the end of the podcast, please comment wherever you're listening. We had some very creative people come through for what our financial book club should be called on socials. Someone said financially lit. I was like, quite good.
Oh,
Sense and sensibility with like sense and sensibility. I was like,
nice.
genius.
Yeah.
So anyway, the idea of the segment, Vic, is to like try and bring a bit of a positive spin to the end of the week.
Yeah.
So to the news cycle.
Yes, to the news cycle. So we've got an aging population. Baby boomers, they're retiring, and there's a lot of talk about them being quite a drain on society, like from
It's pretty brutal, isn't it?
pension-wise, like healthcare-wise, like, yeah. And there's this thing in Italy where old men go and stand at construction sites with their hands behind their backs and give unsolicited advice to the construction workers because they've got nothing to do during the day. So they stand there and like they're obviously very
Is it
experienced.
cute or annoying?
Well, I think it's kind of a bit of both. I think it's cute, but probably the construction workers are probably like,
Go away.
And it's called...
They're just trying to take part. They're just trying to help out a bit.
Totally. They're like, they're retired.
They might have some very good insight.
Yes. Well, now it's actually become an official thing that they do, is that they oversee like this place in Italy, in northern Italy, has actually officially named, it's got the name Umaral. It's like, it was the term of this elderly Italian man. And they have decided to make them official and like make them actually feel part of society. And they're overseeing parks and they're overseeing construction sites, and they report back if there's like anything that needs fixing or anything that's and they've actually made them actual members of society.
What do you mean? Like, are they getting a
like
title?
Volunteer work, but it's still like they can.
It's being recognised that they're actually being helpful.
Totally, they're not annoying. They're being helpful, and
that is so sweet.
And I was like, this is like a whole bigger thing of how do you make people feel valued in society when
and important.
They've got to a point where they don't want to work hard labor or in an office or anything like that all day, every day.
But also they're the wisest people in the world.
They've got so much knowledge. And I actually thought
honestly,
of a genius.
let's invite some in to sit in the corner of the curve like office. We could use a bit of wisdom, couldn't we?
Well, this is what I remember talking to our CFO about this. And like he was using his dad, who's an ex-lawyer, for some things. I was using my mum, who's an ex-accountant. And we were like, there is a business there.
There's a market for these old hags.
Like an Airbnb, and we called it, what do we call it? The boomerang.
They come back again. I love that.
And it's Airbnb like style platform, and you can like say what you need help with.
Is this a real thing, or is this your idea?
This
is genius.
I know.
I love
Please nobody steal it. I'm going to do it after the curve.
It's such a good idea, making them feel valued and helpful. And
obviously it's like got to be project based because they'll probably take a while.
I mean, it would be great for you because you'd get your mum off your back. For a long time, Eileen, Vic's mum, absolutely bow down to her, helped us with our accounts for a long time. And it was just so funny because like the amount that Eileen would contact Vic being like, look, I need to talk to you about the accounts, like it was.
And she'd be like, have you read my email? I'm like, no, Mum. Whoa, when did you send it? 30 minutes ago. I'm like, anyway, I think
the point was Vic would love to find a new source for her incredibly intelligent mother to funnel her time and energy into.
Yes, and for all the other older people out there that still want to
contribute and do something.
And have got years of knowledge. Yeah, anyway.
I love this idea. Also, what a great thing to then look forward to because everyone wants to give back. Everyone wants to feel involved and like they're doing things for good. Like if I could think about myself, I want to be able to stop working so that I can just do things for other people.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, but imagine seeing that as like something you could look forward to give back.
It's the joy you get like even looking after grandkids, right? Like it kind of...
You're not paid as a babysitter, but you're doing something good. Before we wrap up, we have an incredibly important thing that we need a bit of help with. We spoke about this last week, and perhaps we can play a little clip of what actually went down. I was thinking this yesterday. So Halloween is coming up, right?
Yes.
Could we do a scary episode on how when someone gets into power in government, they can have a really terrifying impact on the economy if they do dodgy shit? Emily off mic just said, could we please dress up as Trump? I'm here for it.
I'll do Melania and you can do Trump.
Fine. I'm fine with that. Last year, Vic dressed up as inflation and I was Taylor Swift. And we were trying to dress up as something that influenced the stock market.
Was that Halloween?
Yeah. And we picked it out and I remember thinking, I really hope Vic gets inflation because I know that we're dressing up inflation in a giant blow up, ridiculous outfit.
And I was such a good sport.
You were a really good sport. You were. She had actually your face paint was quite cool. It was a full green face, like a big dollar sign on. Anyway, and I got to be Taylor Swift, which I must say, I don't think I really nailed. It wasn't looking that cute.
And the reason we dress up as those
Yes.
was because one had a massive positive effect on the economy and one didn't.
Anyway, this year we floated the idea of dressing up as Melania and Donald Trump. And I don't know how this came up and we were like, this is hilarious. Ha 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 ha. And then in our Slack channel post work, Vic was like, we're taking it too far. We can't be dressing up as Donald Trump. It's not, it's a bit off.
I'm just more thinking of I want to go to the States at some point in my life. Please.
Do you reckon you being dressed up as him might buy you from New York sometime?
100%. Yeah.
So anyway, we've come up with some ideas and we need you to vote on what are we dressing up as for Halloween. So we've got a few different ideas here, which we'll run through. We'll put some kind of poll in the podcast. So if you're listening, please, you cannot in hindsight say our dress up sucked or weren't funny if you haven't taken part in what we should be dressing up as. Let's run through what the options are. Option number 1, which Vic's not excited for, is Melania.
We're a financial podcast, Sophie.
Yeah, but Donald Trump has impacted the stock market in a scary way more than anything.
I like number 3. But anyway, let's go number 2.
Number 2.
Finance bros.
I mean, we could draw like fake moustaches and stuff on and
Oh,
like
get vests.
Yeah, like get the gilets and, you know, go into bank in London.
What's
and
a
just
gilet?
like they all wear those stupid
yeah.
puffy vests.
Yeah.
So we could really take that to the next level. So finance bros number 2. The third one, which has been thrown in as a wild card from Emily, which I must say I absolutely love.
I quite like this.
Bull and bear.
Yeah.
Bull and bear markets. It's basically the idea is the market going up or is the market going down? That's like finance
How
terminology.
on earth we will dress up as that? I have no idea.
We're going to need more from the budget, the podcast budget, to be able to dress up as a bull and a bear, I think. We have £100 right now, so that's absolutely not going to cut it.
Or a latecomer,
Latecomer.
as in the last 30 seconds. The Fang and the Batman stocks.
Yeah, so someone would be like Fangy and Batman.
So we're going to reveal this for the Halloween episode.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks'
So
time.
if you do have any better ideas, please have better ideas.
Either comment what you think you should vote for, like of one of these 4 options, or if you want to throw any other wild cards in there, please go for it.
Yes, please throw in some.
Melania and Donald Trump, finance bros, Bull and Bear, or Fang and Batman, or any
let us
other
know.
hot topics you've got or ideas.
I like this, something that's had an impact, a positive impact, or something that's had a negative. You
Your-
could dress up as some audio equipment.
Just have cords around my neck. Right. We would love your input here.
I'm excited.
Same.
Nervous, excited.
I love a dress up. Quick note before we do wrap up, Vic.
Yes.
Last week at the start of the Curve Weekly, we spoke about the importance of understanding business and if women wanted to know more about business and like how to launch businesses, how to get capital, blah, blah, blah. So the options we had were, are you interested? Yes, definitely. Maybe, not for me. Literally nobody voted for not for me or I already know. 96% of people said they want to know more about this. So I think we're going to have to do a bit of
Nice.
work on the whole like business education behind the scenes. Because I agree. I had no context for anything about business. I think it's very similar to money and investing. It's such like a gated, confusing thing. Unless you've studied economics or worked in a business, you have no idea.
Yeah, I think we should definitely talk more about this.
Yeah, we're going to go plan some content, plan an episode. So watch this space. But thank you so much for everyone that does like comment and vote and poll and shares the podcast with friends, because the interaction is like, firstly, it's so fun for us to see, because when you're sitting in a room with podcast mates, you kind of forget people listen.
Yeah.
It's nice to like have some interaction.
And that's why you say lots of likes and shit and F and
because you forget people are listening.
swear words and
Thank you for listening to the Curve Weekly. Thank you for the research you did, Vic. And we will
worries.
see you next week. See you.
Thank you so much for listening to The Curve Weekly. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the money, biz and stock market news. And if you like what you heard, we would love a review. Thank you.
Yes, we would love a review. But if you
Only
did
a good
hate
one.
it, please, don't leave one if you hate it. No, but in all seriousness, could you please leave a review? Because it really helps other people find our cute little podcast.
And we hope you have a good week and see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. See you next Tuesday. Lol. See you next Tuesday. I mean Monday.
No, actually, though, new episodes out every Tuesday. Okay, quickly. The Curve was created to empower and educate you about investing, but we are not financial advisors.
Our platform exists for educational purposes only, and it doesn't provide personalized investing advice for your individual needs and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision.
And always remember to do your own research before making any investment or financial decision.
We're here for any knowledge and support you need, but the final call is always yours.
And thanks for being here.
You got this.
Yeah, we know you got this.